So, good morning to all of you. And can you hear? No. Yes. Can I hear?
It's not.
Oh, it's not on. It's on?
She's turning it
We have a disagreement already. Okay.
Of course.
Of course. Why not?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Dora, would you be willing to give an introduction?
So, Happy New Year, everyone. And may it be a good one. Since the year 2000, Karma Triana Dharma Chakra, which is the Karmapa's main center in the North America, it's back in New York. That center in 2000 started a tradition of offering lamps and also prayers to go with it. And so they light additional lamps every New Year's morning and recite some prayers. And at the time that they initiated that, they sent notice to all the Kagyu centers, including us, and invited us to join in. And the idea being that all around the world, at some point on New Year's Day, and maybe every point on New Year's Day, similar-minded people are reciting the same prayers and making the same aspirations. And so we've been participating in that, and it's just, there are three prayers that were written by three of our Kagyu lineage masters. But the point is mainly to make our own aspirations. So thinking, what do you want for the new year? What do you want for the world? Maybe peace, maybe compassion, wisdom, maybe harmony. And what do we wish, more locally? And what could we aspire to contribute to ourselves? So, and of course, light. So we've offered a couple of extra candles on the shrine. And light is symbolic of various things in our tradition, but one is wisdom, lighting up the darkness. And so thinking of maybe what the sense of light means to you can also be part of this. So we will recite the prayers. I think everybody has. You either have a little Tibetan style booklet or you have the same thing on larger sheets of paper and just follow the, on the larger sheets, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, just go in order. And there's 3 separate prayers, but we'll just do them. First, we'll do them in English so that we know what we're saying, and then we can recite them once in Tibetan, if that works. Om Svasti Dharmakaya, unchanging unity of appearance and emptiness, vast expanse of youthful great bliss, sky of spontaneously present joy, free of defilement, bestow a feast of unchanging goodness upon us, through the seeds of inherently pure virtue that arise from even a bit of glorious goodness, and the bright smile of virtue revealed, by offering the light of these lamps to the three jewels. May the well-being of a golden age arise in this realm of the thousand-petaled lotus. May this time of warfare and disputation be pacified. May auspicious excellence, prosperity, and goodness flourish, especially throughout the land of America. May the youthful lotus of teaching and practice bloom. May innumerable oceans of realms be filled with the melodious roar of the profound secret. The ground, self-awareness, is utterly luminous wisdom. It is prajna paramita, which thoroughly distinguishes among things. Its nature is awareness unobscured by ignorance. It is emptiness and lucidity united, the very nature of luminosity. The radiant rays of this light fill all quarters of space. May the merit of this light bring happiness to all beings. The nature of this light is the very nature of all things. May the light of the Buddha's wisdom be revealed. By offering these tranquil and beautiful lamps in the joyous presence of the perfect Buddha, the King of Illumination, Jawa Karmapa, the Lord of the world, and all Buddhas with their children, may the poison of malicious enmity never arise in the mind of any one of us. With loving minds like the meeting of mother and child, may all the world be filled with peace and happiness. Om Sati Mi Jur Nang Tong Zung Chuk Chuk Ku De Chen Dru Pe Long So Ge Pe Long Zatra Lun Drup Ge Pe Kai Gyur me shi pe gaten sujur chik get sok pa gidum bule wang we rang shinam kar ge we sabandang chok sum nang sa ki lek chupe lek che chok zum kadrawadi pe mo ton tu shepe shindiru Zoten chiki long so good dang len Trut so du ki kepa shiwadang Pun so payan ge pe ta shisho Ke panup chok ari nor zin kyong Shedrup chuke long tsoga padang Sab sandar dir drop edrin yanki Drang ye shinkam gyatsa ken jur chik kun shirang rikye shekuntu se churab nam che sherab parachin riperan shin marik dripe wen ton sa sun juk sa we de shin yi nan sa se nang we chokan cham nang sa sanam drokan de la jor nang saran shin chen yi de shin yi nang sa ja wei ye sheng an jur shong sok pe san je dren me je podang jiten wan chu karma pala so se che ja we dun san yam ga war shi waram ze mar me di pu we pen sun draru tong we sam ngen du ran shen su yik yu lang mi chung war jam pe sem ki ma bu tre pa shin zam ling kun shi de cha pa shio.
when we begin a session of meditation, we always start with the turning of the mind to refuge. Turning of the mind to refuge as opposed to the alternative, turning our minds to grasping after all the things we would like to have. Alternatively, turning our minds to aversion to all the things we wish we didn't have. Our illness, our difficult relationships at times, and most important is to turn our minds to the place of holding the wish that all of our efforts, whether it is speech, whether it is a passing thought, or some deed that we performed, the wish that all of those things would come together in such a way that all sentient beings would benefit, and even spontaneously become free of the causes of suffering at all levels. So there is a visualization that we can engage in that supports that approach. And that is, as we begin the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, we begin by imagining that all of our kind parents, our kind teachers, kind friends, and all of those who are not always so kind, that they might be kind, we imagine them all in front of us, extending to the limits of space itself. So like a great oceanic cloud, immeasurable in size and scope, a cloud of all sentient beings, all of whom, now we say, who have been our mothers over and over again, and so we imagine with great interest that through our just turning our minds to refuge and bodhicitta, the wish to benefit all others, that just turning our minds like that would accomplish all things for all sentient beings, that they would be free now and forward indefinitely. of all the physical pain and mental pain that we naturally have as sentient beings. We add to that one wish, which is so important, that we would be willing to take on the suffering of all sentient beings, no matter how difficult, no matter how often, no matter the consequences to ourselves, that we might individually be responsible for the benefit of all sentient beings. And thinking like that, we might also notice that our own benefit is indeed accomplished through the great wish to benefit all beings without a single exception, and with the great wish that not a single sentient being, anywhere, anytime, not a single sentient being deserves to suffer. And so it is our wish to be a cause in removing the suffering of all sentient beings. So we'll begin this morning's practice by reciting again the prayer for refuge and bodhicitta 3 times together.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering, establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
When we practice calm abiding, it is not necessarily meant to be that we would experience calm abiding. And anyone who has practiced calm abiding or any other meditation whatsoever must have come to understand that not all of our experiences are pleasant. But all of our experiences are useful. So as we relax and prepare to rest our awareness with clarity and the experience of stillness, we might also understand that some of our less pleasant experiences are the most profound place to rest our awareness. So in our ordinary, everyday dealings with others and with ourselves, we tend to rest our awareness on our opinions, on our wishes, mostly for ourselves, and we tend to become dissatisfied as our minds drift, and the more difficult experiences we're having do not necessarily evaporate. Oftentimes we place our awareness on simple things like a stick or a stone in front of us, or for that matter, even a more important object such as a statue of the Buddha. But importantly, the most useful place to rest our awareness is often the place we would least like to rest it. Upon our experience of confusion, for example, or our experience of anger, or for that matter, our experience of attachment, in general, we often say about these things, they're all our hopes and fears. And we put a great deal of effort into avoiding the fears and identifying with and hanging on to the hopes. But in this simple practice of calm abiding, one of the most profound transformations can be witnessed by anyone, even those who have never done it before. And it works best with the more difficult situations, such as anger, such as fear, and desire of all kinds. So when you sit quietly and begin the practice of calm abiding, one method is, and it's a very important one, place your awareness on any experience that you're having, but especially an experience you would like to be rid of. Because if we nurture our sense of being rid of certain experiences, pretty soon we figure out ways to get rid of those things, and that usually means harming someone else. So a strong experience is the best. And a slightly negative experience is quite good. It's an important thing to ponder and contemplate, because we all have experiences we wish we weren't having. The Dharma will not get rid of those experiences for us. Rather, it is the tool by which we can accomplish the Dharma within the very context of the Dharma itself, which is the actual gift. So rather than run from the experiences which feel like they're just too much for me, relax and put your mind right there on the very thing you most want to run from. Let your awareness cook there, like a cake baking in the oven. And when it's done, you will have something sweet. And if you do it over and over and it becomes even habitual, we're not really supposed to use that word as Buddhists. But in this case, habit is a great blessing. The more you place your awareness on your experiences, the more your experiences will be directly witnessed as gifts. So try that in this session, which up until the break. But I want to add one last thing. Try to break your session up into multiple small pieces. It's always easy to put your awareness on any experience that you have for a short time. The difficulty is in maintaining that awareness for a longer period. So it should be good news that it's not necessary. If you can place your awareness on any experience, pleasant or unpleasant, even for a few seconds or just a few minutes, that's plenty good enough. And when that experience is gone, you then can come back to the next experience and place your awareness there. So for the duration of this session, do your best.
By this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
So I think we have a tea break now. Do we have the accurate time?
I just want to make one clarification. Today, the calm abiding retreat ends at 3:30. Then there's a half-hour break for families to arrive, etc. And then the refuge ceremony will begin as close to 4 as we can get everything ready. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, it's tea break. In silence. They'll call you back.
Remain speechless.
It's about 20 minutes.